What up, YouTube, and Happy New Year. I am Sean Arona, and I film weddings. This year has been kind of great. I've filmed a lot of weddings. I've got a 2-bedroom apartment now. I feel like this year is just kind of coming together pretty well. Honestly, I've learned kind of a lot this year, and I want to give you guys a couple tips that might actually help you with some of the weddings you booked. So let's get into it. So here are 10 ways to become a better wedding filmmaker in the new year. Number 10, be selective of your shots. When you're at a wedding and you're running around with your camera and you're in a spot where you don't really like the shot you're getting, stop what you're doing, move to a better place where you can get the composition that you want, get the lighting you want. Don't waste time on something that you think is mediocre or that you're not going to be happy with later. When you're in the edit room, be even more selective. Now, you're going to come back to your office and you're going to have so much footage and you're going to be proud of it. You're going to want to include basically everything. But the trick to having like a really good, impressive edit is to make sure that you only include the shots that are the best shots, the most amazing shots, the best material possible. And sometimes that means leaving out a couple shots that were pretty good. Sometimes choosing not to include something is just as impactful as choosing to include something. So take, for instance, this edit right here.
I've known Megan over the past 7 years. We met each other the first night of recruitment. And a word that comes to mind when I think about Megan is genuine and just loving. And she's been such a good friend to me and Lindsay, and I know that she's going to be that good of a wife to Kevin.
This flows pretty good, you know, decent. But then you take these two shots out.
I've known Megan over the past 7 years. We met each other the first night of recruitment. And a word that comes to mind when I think about Megan is genuine and just loving. And she's been such a good friend to me and Lindsay, and I know that she's going to be that good of a wife to Kevin.
Look at how much better it makes your work look to other people. Number 9, balancing quality and content. Now, this is something that a lot of people struggle with, and sometimes people choose one or the other. I personally think both are very important. Sometimes we get caught up with our fancy cameras and our cinematography and we're like, this is awesome, but we forget that part of the most important part of an edit and a wedding film is the emotion, the love story, making sure that you are telling the best story possible for your couple. So my advice to kind of balance the two, because you do want it to look good, you want it to look amazing, you want your couple to be like, I chose the best videographer ever, not only because it looks pristine, because the cinematography is perfect and the edit just flows really well, but you also want them to cry. You want them to feel moved. You want strangers to watch this and also be moved. Possible clients. So basically what I found good in balancing content and quality is you are going to make sure you get everything that happens on the wedding day. That's not even a question. But what you should focus on the entire time during the wedding is, you know, making sure that your composition is absolutely perfect, making sure the shots are really, really good, making sure that you go for the best lighting spots possible. And when you come back into the edit room, that's when you change your mindset and you say, okay, now what is the best content possible? When did something important happen? When did somebody say something that was just the highlight of the day? Those are the things that are going to make the edit moving and the video absolutely amazing. You don't have to worry about, you know, what were the best shots, I need to include those, because you've already done that. You've put in the work. All of your shots look really good at this point, and now it's time to tell their story. Number 8, make sure that you get a variety of shots. A lot of the time you end up either going like for too many close-ups because close-ups look pretty and you get that nice bokeh, or you know, you're all medium shots because it's just people and you're just trying to get what's going on. But make sure you also get super wide establishing shots. Those really help set the scene and they allow for the edit to breathe, because if you just have too many close-up shots, you're not going to feel a sense of place and your edit feels just too tight. Basically, editing is all about punctuation. You want to make sure you have those wide shots. You want to make sure you have those medium shots. And of course, you want to make sure you have really nice close-up detail shots of, cocktail hour, of, the decorations, of the rings, things like that. That way you can have a variety of shots for your edit, and it helps you tell a better story. Number 7, this one's really important to me. Make sure that you become best friends with the photographer. There's a tendency for us to kind of say you have your own crew that you're working with on this wedding, and you guys end up being really cliquey, and the photographer has an assistant and they're really cliquey, and then you guys are kind of in your own little cliques and you don't talk too much to each other and you kind of get in each other's way. Don't let that happen. Make sure that you and the head photographer are buddies, and that you're both courteous. Make sure that they get their shot and let them know, like, hey, it's okay if you need a shot, just let me know to get out of the way for a second and then I'll pop back in. Communication is key. Ask them about themselves. Ask them how long they've been doing this for. Just make some small talk with them. Make sure that they are comfortable with you, and that way the rest of the day, instead of kind of fighting for your own shots, you guys are actually working together and you're planning together, and they let you know, hey, we're gonna go do this, and then you're like, cool, I want to go get those shots too. You basically end up becoming a team by the end of the day instead of enemies. Number 6, a lot of videographers charge hourly for what they do on a wedding day. So like some packages will include 10 hours, some will include 8 hours, some will include 6 hours, and honestly that's less important to me. Weddings get very, very stressful when the schedule is tight, but it's even more stressful when you've only been paid to be there for 4 and 6 hours, and so they've changed their timeline to be tighter and everything's happening really fast. You barely have time to move around, get the shots, and catch a breath. I get there early. I get there like an hour before I even say I'm gonna get there sometimes, and when you do that, you have extra time, and time is one of the most valuable assets you will have. You can get your shots in early, you'll get footage of them getting ready, you'll get some footage of the makeup, you get, location shots, and basically by the time the photographer even gets there, you've gotten your shots and you're comfortable with the location, and now you can actually go to the photographer and be like, hey, this is a good spot to shoot the dress. I did something with these rings. I don't know if you have something cooler to do, but gives you something to talk about with them. They know that you're helping them and you have time to help them. You're not just like, oh, I need to go get my shots. Like, you have done what you need to and you're ready for things to just keep rolling now. Number 5, record good audio. Now this is something that a lot of beginning wedding filmmakers aren't very good at. I sucked at it, okay? I'm still working on it, but this is honestly something that's going to separate you from other people, is making sure that your sound is good. This actually makes the content a lot stronger. Make sure that you get the vows recorded during the ceremony.
You're my best friend and the love of my life. I love you more than anything in this world, and I'm so excited to become your wife.
Make sure you get the speeches in the reception. Those are the heart of your edit. And this is the stuff that is going to make your edit powerful. This is the stuff that is going to make people cry. You're going to have to find a way to record as clean as possible the vows and the speeches. And if the couple has letters, make sure you take them aside for a second and say, hey, read this. And that way you can include their letters talking in their own voice in the edit. Honestly, one of the things I do is that I get the couple to meet in person at some point. Even if it's just once or twice, you want to meet the couple in person. You want to talk to them, you want to get to know them a little bit, you want to understand, what the wedding day is going to be like. They want to understand your process, and they become more comfortable with you. Offer an engagement session, offer a couples interview. This will definitely help you get to know their personal, unique love story, and they will get used to you running around with the camera in their face. That way, when the day of the wedding comes, it's not as weird having you around. You honestly feel more like a friend to them that they invited to the wedding than a stranger. Number 3, make sure that you have good communication with your second shooters. Make sure that they understand what you need. Honestly, I've worked with some people that really don't know how to manage other people, and this makes a huge difference. Make sure that they know the kind of shots you're looking for. Tell them, hey, I'm going wide all day. Maybe you should go tight and for all the close-ups and get all of the really close details and use the zoom lens all day. That way, when I go into the edit room, I have a series of wide shots and I have a series of close-ups. Make sure that, on the ceremony, you tell them, hey, I want you to be on this side. This is what I need you to focus on. And if you need to move the camera, look over to the other guy and make sure that you're both yep, I'm good, I'm solid. You can move your camera if you need to. That way, if you're editing a full ceremony video for the couple, that you don't have two cameras moving at the same time that are both jittery and unusable during the edit. Make sure they know, and also make sure, because they've probably shot weddings before and they have their own style and you have your style and they're shooting for your video. So basically, if they're using glide cam all day, but you're no, I really the slider shots work better for me, make sure that they know that and they are getting the same kind of style shots that you're looking for, because otherwise they're just going to do what they know. And if you didn't express to anybody, this is how I want you to do it, they're not going to know. So communication is important. Number 2, don't use handheld shots. Now you're really going to want to pick your camera up off of your tripod and just start running around and get everything you can, because things sometimes just start happening so fast that you have no time to, jump to something, and you're gonna have to fight this urge, because especially if your camera doesn't have really good stabilization or you have a telephoto lens, your handheld shot isn't going to look as good as the rest of the footage, and it's not going to fit in with the edit very well, and you want this to be quality. So I'm not saying don't use something like a handheld shot, use a monopod, use a shoulder rig. Make sure that you have something, even if it's just a tripod. It will look better than if you are getting a handheld shot. So just put that little extra effort in to make sure your camera is on some kind of stabilization, and I swear it will make a huge difference in your work later. Number 1, make sure that you give the couple the best experience possible. Now, after you film a couple weddings, you're going to be really comfortable with yourself, you're going to be really comfortable with your work and proud of it, but you'll have to keep in mind that this day is the couple's day. It's not your day. And so your focus should always be on, is the couple happy? Are they having a good time? Make sure you keep your energy up and you're excited and you're hey, let's go over there. This will look really cool. And show them a shot or two, get them excited. Thank you guys again for joining me. I hope this video was helpful. I'm definitely going to use these tips myself on the weddings that I've booked for 2018. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, please give us a like and subscribe if you aren't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one.